Hi, everyone. It's Bill Noble from Token Metrics. This is your 2021 altcoin TA update. So I'm sure you had a really great holiday, and congratulations to anybody who got to ride the rocket higher in Bitcoin and Ethereum. But what we want to do now is I want to take you through some TA of altcoins that maybe have been a little bit more subdued, because we're thinking that it actually is time for an altcoin wake up as Bitcoin takes a breath. So let's jump right into it. All right, Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so this is a Bitcoin dominance weekly chart, and this is sort of a price prediction about Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin has owned the show for quite some time. Okay, 32,000 was a big technical level. It went through 32K. I think a lot of people, big people, probably sold at that level. Okay, and now they may be looking to put Bitcoin to work in other places inside crypto. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance topped at 70. If you look at this arrow over here on the right, you can see that Bitcoin dominance made that big new high, but stochastics down in the bottom right, they made a lower high and they knifed over. Now, when you have that kind of reading on your momentum indicator, normally the instrument, in this case, Bitcoin dominance, could fall sharply. So what I wanted to do with this market update and this Bitcoin dominance analysis is get you ready by looking at some of the coins that both the token metric system likes and look good from a TA perspective. Because I do think the spike in Ethereum to 1,200 is only the start of what can be a much bigger rally through the alt space. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at the charts. Okay, so Ethereum versus Bitcoin. The recent action in this has been absolutely unbelievable, right? I never thought I would have seen price action where Ethereum looked like it was going to be left in the dust, and then it essentially doubled. I don't think you should underestimate what Ethereum can do on the upside. I know there's a lot of talk about high gas fees. I get it that the world does probably need more than one DeFi highway. Like the world needs Polkadot for DeFi to truly explode. That said, this chart looking at Ethereum versus Bitcoin gives us an idea on like a 2-day chart that the amount of outperformance that Ethereum can have, the amount of push that ETH and alts could muster here is something that's not on everyone's radar, right? In other words, it's a very important thing to understand that, you know, the media really hasn't covered what's gone on in Bitcoin. And from our sources, they don't really want to. It's interesting. So if they don't want to cover Bitcoin, it means the whole alt universe is still kind of a mysterious trade that not everyone is doing. Yes, you, the crypto viewer, you may be doing it, or you, the token metrics customer, may be involved. But I still think that altcoins are like the undiscovered country or the undiscovered place for investing in the future of both tech and finance. So even if you're sitting around, you know, like, God, are my altcoins ever going to go up? Gee, am I going to listen to Bitcoin forever? You know, no, you're not going to have to listen to Bitcoin forever. And I do think you have to still believe in altcoins as the future of tech and money. Now, here's a great chart. Speaking of that, this is Cardano. All right. Cardano and Celsius are getting together, and they've generated some buzz about freeing up the DeFi highways to do something other than on Ethereum. Choice is great. Choice helps investors. It lowers prices. It makes for better investment. Competition is good. It's economics 101. Okay. Now in Cardano, you're probably looking at the chart and going, what are all these little ones and twos mean? Okay. It's this thing we've talked about on the live stream before, right? This start, stop type of price action, right? Now, when you see that type of action, okay, when you see something stopping and starting, okay, when you see something stopping and starting like that, it's usually a sign. Sorry, folks, a little confusion here. Okay, I'm back. So when you see something stopping and starting, the more times it stops, starts in Elliott wave terms, okay, Elliott wave principle, it leads to a much bigger rally, like really big, like something that goes and goes and goes and keeps going, very similar to what we've seen in Bitcoin, okay? And I don't think a lot of people are expecting this in the alt space. And this type of formation, this type of read is everywhere. And in Cardano in particular, it's very pronounced. Okay, so if you want to put it to work, what's the bottom line? Well, as I'm putting this together on January 4th, right, the night before the election in Georgia, you know, the market's getting hit a little bit. And I think you've got to use any dip or any pressure that big players put on the market as a chance to buy, right? They love to do this around holidays or around uncertain illiquid periods where they'll push the market down. And the way this Elliott wave shakes out, this is a good opportunity to be scooping in alts that you like. Okay. Polkadot. Now, Polkadot has a different look. It doesn't look like Cardano, but there's a lot of room to go to 11. Okay. So Polkadot's definitely can go from 9.5 to 11. And I think if Polkadot breaks 11, it's going to go to 20. Okay. This could be the big breakout. And if you look at this range, anybody who's been in crypto for a while will recognize that as Polkadot starts moving like this, this looks like what Ethereum did when it started really moving. So the Polkadot universe is coming. Okay. Kusama. Okay. Sort of the Litecoin of Polkadot, right? The working clone. I noticed that dip buyers really showed up at that 62 level. That's very interesting. It's a prior high. Okay. So for a Kusama price prediction or a Polkadot price prediction, you know, the dip may have already happened. And if you're waking up in the US tomorrow after these elections and you see big dips in these coins, it's a chance to put capital to work. Okay. Because I think the next leg up in these altcoins, when all that Bitcoin goes to work in the alt space, will be tremendous. And I think the trade will start with the Polkadot Kusama ecosystem and how that both complements and competes with Ethereum to make DeFi bigger. Okay, VeChain. I've been pounding the table on VeChain, and I'm just going to keep right on doing it. So if the VeChain army is out there, this chart is for you. Folks, I think this is going up. This is one of the most interesting sort of series of ones and twos. And really, it's just kind of all one big base that VeChain has been making. And I think this is trading around 2 cents, and I think it's going to go to 6 cents or higher. Right? Like, I think when this rally starts in VeChain and in this sort of sector, it's going to be powerful. Okay. Okay. EOS. I've been tracking this for a while. This has been frustrating. This range has been awful. Okay. Now, if you look at it, EOS is just sort of beginning to break out. And if this diamond formation is correct, like diamonds normally create huge rallies. So there's a possibility that EOS can go from 412, from where it is at like 260 to 412 and possibly hit as high as 675. Now, that would be some surprise rally in the altcoin space. But again, keep something in mind. Stable coins, looks like the government likes them. It looks like big blockchains like Cardano, okay, and maybe even Tezos. A lot of these blockchains that were given up for dead now have life, okay, because the stablecoin, the DeFi universe is spreading out. Like, for example, Tezos might be the test net for the euro. EOS may be in a similar situation where there could be, hey, a surprise announcement like Google's getting involved, as an example. Okay, so I think EOS is one of these things where you might have to hold it for 2 weeks or a month or less, or the time is now. I'm not really sure, but I do have confidence that this can go a lot higher. Now, one of the ways that I'm going to try to sell this idea to you is using the chart of synthetics, this idea of the series of ones and twos. Now, as you can see, synthetics has gone vertical from 7 to 12. All right. And we think that the chart shows at least 16. Synthetics can just keep going, right? It can keep going until it's a news headline. And that goes for all altcoins, frankly, that we're going to cover in this, particularly the blue chip ones. So there's a lot of upside on this whole series of ones and twos. And for synthetics, I'm thinking 16 minimum. Okay, Ren. Now, we've been talking about this on and off. We did a little bit on Twitter. So what is our Ren price prediction? Here we are on January 4th, watching Ren sort of fly around in the middle of this range that it's been in since the DeFi bubble burst. The difference is, I think this dip may be the final dip in Ren before this coin takes off. Okay, this has been doing absolutely nothing. It's been frustrating people. Big rallies are followed by big dips. But if you do the Elliott wave work here, it really is a series of ones and twos. Okay, and this could be very powerful because remember, Ren is the gateway between Polkadot and Ethereum. It's the shuttle bus. So if the rocket ship in Polkadot and Kusama in that whole space, that whole theme, right, like in stocks, that whole investment theme takes off, forget it, right? Ren and DOT and Kusama are all going to go up a lot, right? Like I know Bitcoin did a 3x from, 10,000 to 32K. I don't see any reason why you can't have 3Xs, 5Xs, and 10Xs in the altcoin space, particularly if decentralized finance is for real. Okay. AAVE, let's talk lending. Let's talk the future of finance. Let's talk the future of tech. Let's talk about it all in one coin with AAVE. Okay. Here we have an inverted head and shoulders bottom. I'm sorry. We have a head and shoulders bottom, but the neckline, instead of sloping this way, it slopes this way. Okay. Very unusual formation, very outside the box, but here's the bottom line. AAVE, if it can stay above 103, so we're here on January 4th, the AAVE price prediction. If AAVE is above 103, AAVE can go to 165, okay, or higher, all right, because all AAVE's been doing between 20 and 100 is kind of winding itself up to build up for some larger move. So this idea of speculation for crypto and this idea of a new lending system, a new finance system could be expressed here. Now, if there's a crash related to an election. But when you look at this, when you look at some of our quarterly and long-term quant grades on AAVE, again, as of January 4th, some of it looks really good. And our analysis, our AI has done well at helping you pick coins that look, with long dated grades like synthetics was. When that was at the top for a while, synthetics eventually took off. And we think AAVE is something similar where the longer term quant grades are actually pretty good. Okay, now Yearn versus Bitcoin. So this is the Yearn Finance price prediction, January 4th. Okay, check out Yearn versus Bitcoin. It's actually below 1.0. Okay, it has not stayed below 1.0 for very long, and it happens to be sitting on a really interesting looking trend line. Okay, now when DeFi took off the first time, Yearn took off from exactly this level versus Bitcoin. Now, when I look at this, even though Yearn today, as I say this, is not exciting and probably going lower, I'm sitting here as everyone is selling going, why is everyone selling? This looks great, especially versus Bitcoin. So DeFi looks okay. Now, January 4th, price prediction, reserve rights. We have been pounding the table on this, okay, on this whole idea of the series of ones and twos. Okay, it's everywhere. Okay, reserve rights. There was a dip today around January 4th, the last couple of days. Frankly, we think that's the dip. You got it. Once these rallies start, you got to get any dip you can get, even if it looks ugly, like it does as I'm recording. So reserve rights, Ren, all of these coins, AAVE, as they dip, buyers are going to be there. Buyers should be there because remember, alt season normally happens December, January. So you've had that huge push in Bitcoin. It's the other coins that have to catch up now. Okay. Someone's been asking for Hex in our private group. And I'm like, well, what do you know? Here's the whole series of ones and twos again. So Hex could go to 2.5 cents. Hex could go to 4 cents. Right? If an alt mania starts, Hex is set up to do well. I mean, again, this looks just like VeChain in reserve. Okay, now for a change of pace, and we've been talking about some of this stuff before, the idea of the teacup and handle formation. All right. That's existed in a bunch of altcoins. We've seen it before. It's worked, but we're waiting for it to work in a couple of areas. One of them is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. We did that earlier. This one's DIA. All right. And here we see waiting forever to see if it's finally going to come back up. Now, this has frustrated a lot of people. Okay. It has a bit of a story to it. It's nice, but people may be giving up. Now, when people give up, especially if you've sat and held this and watched Bitcoin and even ETH do what they've done, undoubtedly you're frustrated. So a lot of times, even though it's a little twisted, when people get frustrated, that's when they give up. And when do things rally? Right after people give up. So we've seen some green candlesticks in DIA. There's a dip tonight as I say this, but I really, really believe that some of these other coins can do well, like Sushi. Okay. So Sushi has a teacup and handle. The good news about Sushi is if you look at it, it's gone to around 4. It's actually started the up move, which is nice. Okay. It's not like DIA where you're wondering if it's going to happen. Sushi has actually started. So for me, Sushi can go to 5. And as far as I'm concerned, Sushi can go to 10 because, it's not ridiculous, right? If Bitcoin and ETH can 2x, then so can all these altcoins, and they can go beyond that. They can 10x, okay? Especially since decentralized finance, right? Like we're getting a new president, a new Senate, a new American governmental system. Okay. And everyone's going to look at that system and go, you know what? We want decentralized finance. Okay. Now, band. Okay. Same thing. Band's got to give above 730 to get going. Same teacup and handle type formation. All right. Now, when you have things like this, these DeFi coins that haven't done anything, realistically, you have to say, okay, they could be dead, right? They could be dead. It could be over. All right. But maybe it isn't. Okay. Because all it takes is for something to wake up all at once. BANCOR was an example of that, say, at the end of last year, right? There was a big pump in BANCOR and it's come back down, but it's come back down and held support around the $1.30. And I think if BANCOR holds the $1.30, there's room for 160 or back to the highs at 240. Okay. It's not a bad idea to buy dips in these DeFi related altcoins. Because again, if Bitcoin did it, if BANCOR is part of the future of DeFi, then it's largely gone unnoticed. All this fanfare about the bigger coins, now it's time to actually look at the smaller coins. Okay, Celsius. Okay, everyone is like, okay, well, Celsius has gone up from 50 cents to $5 and it can't go any higher. No, I think if Celsius is holding 575, right? So if there's no crypto crash and it doesn't fall apart, I'm looking at Celsius at 575 going, you know what? If this does what Bitcoin did, Celsius could go to 13 or Celsius could go to 16 between now and say the summer, right? The first leg probably would take it, to like 8.5 and then to 13. So you didn't do well if you faded Bitcoin or Ethereum. If you said, okay, well, it's gone up, it's gone to 800, I'll sell in Ethereum. No. I think Celsius is the same way. It looks like it's up a lot, but it could go up a lot more, particularly since it's starting kind of a pioneering movement of creating a new DeFi highway, potentially with Cardano, right? Remember when Bitcoin became like a movement, right? When Michael Saylor got involved, when people started doing different things, it only takes one or two people doing something different to start a movement. And if there's a movement to expand the DeFi universe, whether it's to Cardano or Polkadot, it only makes it better for ETH. It only makes it better for alts. This is a totally underrated theme. And this Celsius Cardano news is way bigger than anybody's given it credit for. All right. So that's the end of the show. That's the end of the PowerPoint presentation. I'm Bill Noble from Token Metrics. Friends, Happy New Year. We appreciate your viewership. Customers of Token Metrics, we appreciate your business. If you like what you see here, please come check us out. Right? We have a lot of quantitative data points and great, exciting new portfolios for the next quarter and the next year. And our ranking systems are already helping me help our premium customers figure out what are the next trades and what are the next portfolios to set up. So signing off here, your friendly neighborhood technical analyst. I'm Bill Noble. Take care.